All right, guys. So we're gonna just have to do it this way because you know what? I'm not smart enough in all of 5 minutes to figure this out. So we're going live. You're gonna see my screen. We're talking Instagram basics. I said it a little bit earlier, but you just have me this morning. I'm so sorry. You've got Chris, a Tom, one half of your host here at Closing the Deal. Because of social distancing, Christine and I did not have a camera where we could be close enough to a computer and far enough apart. So we decided that one of us would take this one, and I bit the bullet on that one. So Instagram basics. I hope you've got your coffee and you're ready to talk Graham, because Graham is my jam. So we're going to get into this. So the first thing about this, we're going to run through really quickly just on kind of how to get set up first and foremost, just in case you need to see it. I do want to throw out a caveat. This was all done on an iPhone. So the screenshots that you're going to see may look a little bit different if you have an Android. I am so sorry. We are working on being a little bit more Android friendly, but this is what we've got for now. I'm going to run through that. So if you hang out with me through that, we're going to get into the meat of Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into starting an Instagram basics class. The first one is why Instagram. So I said it just a second ago. I love Instagram. I think personally it's one of the best platforms to truly connect and create a community. And that community leads to potential clients when you're in real estate. So Instagram has over nope, that's not it, 800 million active users. 60% of adults online use Instagram. There are 25 million business profiles on Instagram, and 50% of Instagram users follow at least one business, and 60% say they've learned a product or service through that platform. So definitely through those statistics, you can see that there is power behind Instagram. And yes, there are a few people on it, I'll give you that, but it doesn't mean there's not room for you to grow on your real estate marketing on this platform, because you're going to connect with the people that are drawn to you, which is the best and the hottest type of client that you want as a real estate agent. So, getting started. The first thing you want to do is go to the App Store and download Instagram and create a username. And so a big question is, you feel the pressure, you don't know what to do. If you just kind of do your name, get it out there, get it started, you can go back and change the username later. So it's not something you need to panic on. This is really easy fix. So once you've got that done, the next step is just enter your basic information, your password, your phone number, your username, just so they have all that contact information, the basics. So what we do recommend is for your username, having some sort of call to action or letting people know who you are, what you're about. So for here, we always do Jennifer Aniston as our guinea pig. So we did Jennifer Aniston real estate, and we would recommend you doing something fairly similar as well. All right. And then the next step, adding phone number. These are just screenshots that you can always come back to. We are going to save this to our timeline. So if you want to come back to these screenshots and slow it down, press pause. That will be available for you guys as well. All right. So then you click complete sign up. Then you feel free. You don't need to do Facebook friends and find contacts right away. I'll explain why. Because you don't have anything going on your page yet. It's just a blank page. So we recommend kind of getting your page started a little bit, having some content. People like it's the binge factor. I can scroll through your feed a little bit. I have a little bit of content to look at. So you don't need to do this right up front. This is also something that you can do a little bit later. We definitely recommend uploading your headshot. We've harped on headshots before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but make sure it's clear and make sure it's updated. And make sure that it's something a little bit farther out, because Instagram is a circle. So it's going to crop in that photo, and you're going to have like half of your forehead and half of your chin missing if it's a really tight shot. So try to find one that's a little bit farther back so you're feeling a little bit more comfortable on your profile photo. Here are just some screenshots again to show you what some things look like. So you're going to want to add your profile photo here in the middle, And then, you've got your username. You can put in your name, your website, your bio. We're going to go into your bio in just a second on how to crush it on Instagram. These are just screenshots so you can see what's going on. All right, so in the top right corner, it's a hamburger. This is what we call a hamburger. This guy right here. It's 3 little lines. So you're going to click that and go to linked accounts and then link other social accounts. This is how, if you have a business Facebook page you want to link to, you can link to that account. So a little thing about Instagram, if you're trying to link Instagram to your personal account, then your Instagram needs to also be a personal account. It cannot be a business account. If you're trying to link your business Instagram account to your business Facebook account, they both have to be that. So you can't cross contaminate, if that makes sense. You have to have both of the same in order to connect Facebook to Instagram. And Facebook does own Instagram, so it does make it pretty easy to streamline back and forth between the two platforms. So you can see here, we took the steps. You've got your account, you've got your linked accounts, and that's how you're going to start doing that. Okay, so building your profile, all that stuff's out of the way. So let's get started into the meat of Instagram. So building your bio. Your bio is your first impression that somebody's going to see on your Instagram page. So no pressure, but pressure, right? So what you want to do to kind of make sure you've got a really solid Instagram bio is the first thing you want to think about is what are you trying to project? Like what are you as a real estate professional trying to project? I would say kind of think about that a little bit and then look at some of these tools and resources that we're telling you to do. So when we say use relatable hashtags, we're talking about maybe hashtag realtor or hashtag selling homes. So you have to think about that. And then you want to use emojis. So instead of it being unprofessional, which it may seem or feel like at first, emojis actually help us stop and look. If I just see a bunch of text, that's just white noise. But if I see an emoji or the occasional color or something different, it actually draws my eye to that, so I'm more willing to stop and look. If you have that in your profile, I'm more willing to spend a little bit more time looking at what you have to say. Then the third one is a call to action. So whatever that is for you, if you want it to be as simple as give me a call today, or if you want it to be, hey, I've got my 10 steps on how to buy a home in the link below, make sure to click that. Give them something to do to interact with you. However you want that to be, just find something and utilize it. And then utilize the website page in your bio. This can be a great way for somebody to get information from you without feeling too intimidated to talk to you yet. And then for your bio, heads up, I have run into this so many times because I'm wordy on the internet, is you can only use 150 characters, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that does include spaces. So you're going to have to be a little creative on how to word everything and get it all into that 150 characters. Hashtags. All right, hashtags is a key phrase or word preceded by the hash symbol, or for any of us who still know it, the pound symbol. So I remember going to like friends' apartments and it's like pound 1, 2, 3, 4. I know, I'm not that young of a millennial, okay? Give me a break. So they are written within a post or a comment to highlight it and facilitate a search for it. Essentially, by including hash marks in your post, it can be indexed by the social networks, so it can be discoverable to everyone, even if they're not your followers or fans. For example, if your company has to do with the extreme sports, you can add the hashtag bucket list to your Instagram post to snag people with a passion for adventure and fun. So just to kind of break that down again really simply, it's just creating a search engine on Instagram. So it's going to be really just anything related to the post or related to the industry, related to you, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later. But that's what hashtags are. Also, another fun fact with hashtags on Instagram, you can actually start following hashtags. So like for me, I love decor, I love home renovations. So I follow a mixture of hashtags of like bohemian style decor or bathroom renovations. That way, just me, for what I enjoy seeing on the platform, I can watch those come through, and other people do use that as well, and that is how you can be discovered. Okay, like I was saying, so you want to use hashtags directly associated with your service or industry, kind of like hashtag realtor, hashtag sells NM homes, hashtag Albuquerque homes. You get the idea. Those are what you do to use hashtags that are just kind of related to you. And then you want to use hashtags to build your SEO. So you can even do like hashtag Carissa Tom sells or hashtag Carissa Tom because you're making yourself a lot more searchable through the search engine. So the next one you want to use are hashtags directly related to the content that you are posting. So you want to have some that you change out that are that change a little bit every time. So say you post, I don't know, a kitchen in one of your new listings. So you'll have your like hashtag realtor, hashtag Carissa Tom, hashtag Albuquerque homes. You would want to do like hashtag kitchen or hashtag open floor plan or something related to that image directly. Or say you're putting a post up about a buyer's tip. Well, then you would want to use a hashtag that's related to what you're saying. Maybe it's hashtag shop lenders or hashtag be educated. So that's what we mean when we say directly related to the content that you're posting. And then if you want something to stand out in your text, in your what is it called? Your comments, not your comments, your caption, that's the word. In your caption itself, if you really want something to stand out, also considering hashtagging that word. So while you're in the post itself, the kind of tip that we like to say is put all of your hashtags in a separate comment underneath it so it doesn't come across too spammy. But it does, if you're trying to like highlight something, it's okay to put one or two in your caption just to get that point across. And then just so you know, you can only use 30 hashtags per post. And that does include like what you have in your caption and what you have in your comment. So it's not like every comment you get 30, you get 30 total for that single one. And honestly, if you're using more than 30, you might want to figure out or narrow down what your audience is exactly because you want to use your key hashtags that have to do with exactly what you're talking about. We do have a little tip on hashtags too, a little hack we like to call it, which is besthashtags.com. So let me get to that page so I can type it in for you guys. Yeah, besthashtags.com, and I'm going to write it in the comment section really fast for you guys so you can use this as well, hashtags.com. Okay, so what this does is we use this tip a lot, and we use it here on Closing the Deal. So you want to go to the site and look at what hashtags are related to your field and your industry, and then you want to pick the second batch. So the second batch is the second most popular used hashtags on Instagram. And why we say the second most popular is because they are a smaller pool of hashtags and people using them. So it's easier to be discovered through those hashtags than the ones that have like 25 million posts on it, right? You're just a needle in a haystack. But if you're coming down to the one with like 5,000, even 100,000, you're starting to pop up and you're a little bit more discoverable that way. So that's why we really love using this tip. All right. Let's talk posting on Instagram. So for images, so on Instagram, you can post videos and images on your actual feed. So for images, the traditional sizing is the Instagram square that we are all familiar with. It's the 1x1, it's just perfect square. I want to say a few years ago, they introduced the vertical, the longer photo, kind of this one. It's hard, you can't see my hands. So We suggest doing vertical because you do take up more real estate on that cell phone. So if I'm scrolling through and I see all of your photo rather than just a square, it can capture my attention just a little bit better. So we do recommend using that. And you can do landscape going across because sometimes it's hard to fit like a good picture of a home and vertically, right? If you're trying to get the exterior. So you can still do it landscape. It's just our rule of thumb is we typically do it vertical. All right, editing images. So we do recommend some editing to your photos. Here's the thing. We are a society that is so used to edited photos. But my caveat with that being in real estate is you don't want to completely change the look of a photo or make it so aesthetically pleasing. A potential buyer comes into that house and they're like, this is not what I saw on Instagram, right? That is what you want to stay very far away from. So make sure you're not changing the colors or the saturations too much. We would say and suggest basic kind of like lighting, contrast, brightness, just to kind of help the photo out a little bit. If it's a little dark, use the editor to brighten it up. Because we are so used to editing, it is going to look a little unfamiliar if somebody just kind of, or not unfamiliar, but maybe not super exciting if it's just a photo you took and didn't put any effort into cleaning it up. So some of the apps that we recommend are Snapseed, VSCO. If you guys have heard of Visco Girls, this is actually where that has originated from. Adobe Photoshop Express, Adobe Lightroom. This one's one of my personal favorites. I did photography on the side for a while, so Lightroom has always just been my favorite, whether it's on the phone or on the desktop. You've got Photo Collage and Afterlight. These all range from free to paid. So you might want to have to just check those out and go through it. And some are iPhone, some are Android. I apologize, we didn't work that out on this screen, but that's something I can work on in the future for you guys. All right, so videos. Videos can be landscape or vertical. So if you're posting a video to your feed, it can be under 90, no, excuse me. It can be 59 seconds. There's my dyslexia popped in it. I wanted to say 95. It can be 59 seconds. If it's longer than 59, it needs to be an IGTV. This is a new rule that they had when they launched IG Stories or IGTV. Wow, struggling a bit. Hang in there with me. So I don't typically post videos any longer that are under a minute because it's not Instagram's favorite child and it's really not going to do you any good. So if you're trying to post a video, I would say even like I would add like a little intro at the end or a few seconds at the end, whatever you need to get it over that 60-second mark and post it as an IG story. But just so you know, you can still use videos in your feed if they're under a minute. Okay, so we're talking captions. So I think captions can be one of the most daunting things because you're like, I've got this image or I know I need to post something, but what do I say? And for real estate, the really beautiful thing for any kind of social media marketing is you just share information and you are the expert, which is amazing. You know way more about real estate than the average public does. And the way to social media market right now is to give, maybe ask, give. We've seen it work. We went to San Diego. All of the top experts were yelling and hollering the same things. That's what we've been saying for a long time. And I know there's hesitation. You're like, well, if I give so much, they're going to get all this information from me and go somewhere else. Yeah, they could. Like, keeping it real with you, they could. But I've also learned from you, and more than likely, I've started to like, trust, and know you. So I'm going to give you that business because I've been educated through your content on my own, which makes me feel empowered, which is again how marketing is working these days. And I'm using you now because I feel comfortable with you. So yes, can you lose a few people? Yes. But overall, this is the best way to market is to just share and just give. So for captions, a few of the things are make sure to check your spelling. Like I said, I'm dyslexic. We when I check my spelling, things tend to be wrong. So if you have a friend, ask them to check it out for you. Or I have a cousin who's really good at sending me a screenshot and being like, change this. So I use her a lot too. Make sure to use emojis. Like we said earlier, emojis are eye-catching. They're thumb stopping. You get people to stop scrolling and read. You want to add a call to action, and you want to share a story. So this is the biggest thing I would tell you guys for captions. And you're probably like, how do I share a story? You have to think about your audience when sharing a story. Is this going to educate? Is this going to benefit? Is this going to make someone laugh, make someone smile? This is kind of the idea behind a story, because in any kind of marketing for social media, you always want to highlight your audience. That's your potential buyers and sellers. You want them to be the hero. So if you're sharing, like you just had a closing and you want to share that, what did your buyer do that was just incredible? Like they went above and beyond on something. They went. Don't talk about them you were. Talk about what your client did in that process that you're like, man, like they were just such a pleasure to work with. I'm so humbled I had the opportunity to work with you. Thank you so much. Make them the hero of your story. And you can do this in any way too. If you make someone feel empowered with the education that you're giving them, that makes them the hero. You have to let go of your ego when you're social media marketing to do it well. I'm sorry. I know it's tough because you're like, but it's my page, it's my potential business. You have to let that ego go. And the next one is using an engaging first line. So this can be not every time, guys. These aren't always like you have to have each and every single one of these in every one. These are more just kind of pointers. So for an engaging first line, think of maybe more of like a controversial question, and be easy. Take that with a grain of salt when I say controversial. Maybe it's more of like, I'm open floor house or open floor plan kind of person, agree or disagree. These are more, you're kind of just getting the conversation rolling on these sort of questions, but then also share why. Share why you like the open floor plan. So you're still sharing a bit of a story, and that gives the little aspect of you that's still in the picture. And then add line breaks. If you have one of those, they call them blog posts now, which do tend to be working well, but it has to be the right mix. But if you have some really, really, really long posts, make sure you break it up for people to read and want to continue to read all of that information. And then on Instagram, don't be too formal. The beauty of Instagram is it's actually a very laid back platform, and people want to see you. So I know I'm saying and harping on making the other person and your audience the hero. I get that. But also they want to get to know you as a person and as an individual. And you're the person that I would be potentially buying or selling my house with. So allow a little bit of your personality to come out. Still stay professional. It's your business. It's still a profession. But allow just some of your personality. A quirky joke, whatever you got. If you think something's funny, you can share it. But again, remember there is still the erring on the side of professionalism, right? Okay, Instagram stories. So a while back on Closing the Deal on Instagram, we gave a 7-day stories prompts for real estate agents, because stories have the power to drive people to your page. They are how people are engaging right now. Any poll that you do, people more times than not want to watch stories and rather just look at the perfect curated feed these days. So you're going to have to hop on. But stories are a gateway and a perfect way to getting used to be on video. If you're not familiar, not comfortable with it, it's 15 seconds. It's gone in 24 hours. That's pretty low commitment, if you ask me. So I would highly suggest, if you're struggling to get on video, start with stories. You can record from Instagram or upload from your library. So if you're walking around but you don't have time to upload it, you can take that video really quickly, and when you have time to upload it, add text, do all that fun stuff, you can do that later. So you can do certain things like going live, adding filters, hands-free, other effects. We really recommend engagement stickers and polls. So Instagram wants to see people engaging. They want to see people active. They want to see you causing people to spend time on their platform. They're selfish. They want more people on their platform for as long as possible. So if you help Instagram do that, Instagram is going to love you. And part of that is stickers and polls and engagements. Like, do you like these cabinets? Yes or no? Again, you want to start thinking a little bit more creatively on these kind of things, but to get started, do just start doing it. See what happens. And note, if you've never done this before, you probably will not get a response the first couple times. You're having to get people familiar with interacting with you if you've never been that person before. So let your ego go again and just keep doing it, and you will start to see engagement. And then keep text. This is huge, 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 huge. The majority of us are watching stories muted. So it's just a floating head talking to me. So if you're not giving me like a quick little snippet of what each slide is saying, I'm out because I'm not turning my sound on. Sometimes we do if we're home or if we're listening later, but a lot of us are scrolling like on our lunch breaks or in different waiting in line. So if you put in a little text on each and every one, you're going to see your engagement go up because you're going to see people continue to watch. They're going to keep watching that stories because they can kind of get the gists of it by reading your text. So that is key. Also, this is for I did this on my personal Instagram. I've always been really like stickler for putting it on, and I didn't one time. And I actually got a DM from somebody telling me that they didn't know what my post was about or my story was about because they're hearing impaired and I didn't put the text. So also think about the fact that you are doing this to reach all clients. And it was really heartbreaking, and I never wanted to make that mistake again so that everyone can engage with the story that I was sharing. And then the last one is creating story highlights. So when you go to your personal profile feed, you see those little dots on top of a lot of people's because those are highlights from all their stories that they created. And you can do like buyer's tips. Like if you went and you've shared a lot of those on your stories, you can make a compilation of all of those and have that. So as a new person coming in, I can see that content again be educated, and again feel empowered by you. And then how to use stories. There's lots of different techniques and things. A really fun one, especially as a real estate agent, is behind the scenes. And you may feel like it's just my normal life, it's just my day to day, but we're kind of fascinated by other people's lives, right? Like there are so many real estate reality TV shows because it's different. It's something that a lot of people aren't used to. So share a little bit behind your scenes. We have one of our clients that we work with always posts about like his kids turning on the lights for showings. And every time I see it, like I smile and I know who it is. I know who's posting it. And it's a quick little clip, but it just makes me connect to that because it's kind of that warm and fuzzies feelings. So think about doing behind the scenes and in real life. Also think about educational. You want some face-to-face time. You also want a mixture, do things that don't have just your face in it. So kind of change it up on your stories, use polls, use different things. So again, it's a really easy way to get into video because you have all of these tools at your disposal for stories. Okay, direct messaging. I feel like direct messaging is probably one of the most intimidating on Instagram, but again, one of the most powerful. When we went to San Diego, the biggest thing that was being like kind of harped at us was getting people to have a community with you and direct messaging. So getting people into your DMs. First of all, Instagram is going to love you. They're going to push your engagement. They're going to push you in front of more people because you're being very active on their platform. And second of all, this is where you're having personal and like private communication with your potential buyers and sellers and your audience. So it's a way to feel less like a talking head on stories and more like a friend and more like a person that I can start feeling connected with, feel more comfortable asking questions. You're not going to judge me if I ask a question about like, how do I start looking for a home? Like what's my first steps? Because now it's this kind of private or more of a friend level communication. You can also find prospects by following hashtags, and sending them messaging. This is similar to like kind of like cold calling. Not personally my favorite, but if that's something you like to do or you're more confident doing, by all means, you can use DMs in that way. Um, you just kind of have to find the system that works for you. Again, when you use stories, I would use stories and parallel that with DMs. So if you're like, hey, I've got this really great resource, it's a link, DM me for that link. And even if all they do is just like, hey, can I have that link? You still started that conversation and you've broken down that barrier. So it makes it a little bit easier next time again for them to reach out to you. And now you've done that resource personally. You send them that link directly. When you're asking, using stories, using polls, respond back to them through direct messages, have conversations. And again, it's creating that engagement that Instagram is going to eat up. Okay, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. We're almost getting through. IGTV. Christina and I are huge fans of IGTV because it is untapped potential. Again, in San Diego, sorry I'm referencing it a lot, but we learned so much. We were listening to top experts, and we found out that Instagram has spent probably way too much money hiring the right people to build and create IGTV. And because they've put so much money into it, this platform on Instagram is their favorite child. So if you start loving and showing some kindness to their favorite child, Instagram is going to do the same thing back to you. They're going to love that you're using this platform, using this program that they have put their hearts and souls into. And so it's also a way to make longer videos. What Instagram is doing with IGTV is finding a way to not like fight, but compete with Facebook and YouTube. So they want that binge-worthy factor. Now on Facebook, I'm sure you've gotten into, you click into one video and then it auto-plays the next, and then it auto-plays the next. Same thing on YouTube. You're on somebody's channel, you just discovered them, and then you're on video number 7. As much as we don't want to admit it, we have all been there. So Instagram is trying to do the same thing with IGTV. The more that you upload, the more people have to binge and get to know you, and the longer, key point, they're staying on the platform. So if you get somebody to stay on your page with your IGTV for 5 minutes, you've just kept that person on the platform for 5 minutes. Instagram's like, yes, this is what we want, right? They want people to stay there because they're competing with all these other social platforms. So if you're sending them off consistently to your blog every single day or to YouTube every single day, Instagram's like, why? That doesn't benefit us. So IGTV benefits Instagram and it benefits you. So you can do longer videos if you really want to go into depth on like exactly how to start the home buying process. You can take 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to get started, really sharing that information. And you can answer questions. So maybe you do a poll on your stories, ask, hey, I want to do a Q&A. What's your biggest fears, biggest questions on real estate? Compile that all into a video, answer all those questions, post an IGTV of like Q&A from your top questions, answering your top questions. And now you've just spent time, somebody who sent you one of those questions will go and watch it on IGTV. Again, just this cycle, right? You can see how just keeping active on all these different parts of this platform keeps people on your platform. You reach more people, you get more paychecks because you have more buyers and sellers. So a few tips on IGTV. We stole this from Shailene Johnson. She is a very excellent social media guru. And this is kind of her setup of what she encouraged you to do for IGTV. In your top, you want to ask a question. Why is somebody watching that video? What's going to engage with them to watch it? Using hashtags, I would say 3 in your actual description here on IGTV. Key point, you want to post a preview. This is so important because it acts like almost like a post on your feed, and it shows up on people's timelines as they're scrolling. So this is super important to make sure that people can see that, click into it, and watch your video. And like I said earlier, you know how Facebook owns Instagram? You can connect your business pages together and you're just cross-contaminating. Now Facebook people can watch the exact same video that you posted here. Quick little side note, you can post from Instagram to Facebook, not the other way around. I don't know if they're working on it, if there are plans on, that's not information that we know, but for now, it's Instagram to Facebook. They prefer filming vertically, right? Because again, that takes up the most real estate, but they have given us the option now. They have updated it to landscape. We recommend about like a 3 to 5 minute max film time. In fact, what we're seeing on closing the deal is the shorter we go, the better it works. So also just be aware of what your audience is telling you. I think we tried to give just too much information and our audience was like, yo, pull it back. So now we're doing more like 2 to 3 minute videos on ours with just quick and simple tips. So play around with it. Don't be afraid to be an alchemist on your own page, right? Figure out what the right chemistry is, what the right formula and combination is that people are responding really well to. You want to create a thumbnail, and my biggest tip for this would be have the text. So let people see what you're going to be talking about through that thumbnail, because then if I go to your profile and I'm scrolling through and I see my fat burning coffee recipe and that's something that I'm really interested in, I click into that. And that's without reading the captions or having any other indication of what that's about. So that really draws people in to view it and stay there longer. And then start with the hook. So this is something that Shailene recommends, which is planning out your first minute of your IGTV. So kind of knowing exactly what you want to say so you feel prepared and then going into it. Also, this is a super exciting, if I can highlight it, my favorite fact. IGTV now does clickable links in the description. So like right in here, you can put a clickable link in. No, you do not have to have 10,000 followers anymore for that to work. This is for everybody, which is so exciting. You don't have to be a mega person on Instagram to be able to use it. So if you have like a new listing or something and you've got the IGTV up, you can put that link in directly and someone will connect and click right into it. I'm so excited about this feature. I think it is game changer for especially people that are under 10,000K because you don't have the swipe up in the stories option. So this is really crucial. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is engage, enlighten, encourage, and especially just be yourself. Social media is a community effort. Everyone is an asset. So I think the biggest thing I wanted to leave you with is marketing as a real estate agent on Instagram is just being yourself and sharing value and information. Your job is to show up for other people. It's not just for your business. It's not just for your paycheck. It's for other people. And that really does come across, especially on the Instagram platform. So make sure to share and educate and be there and be responsive to people that are following you on Instagram. I know a lot of this probably just sounds more just like social media marketing rather than real estate specific. Kind of is. You kind of have to put on both hats to really work Instagram. But I guarantee you, if you really focus on other people and start caring about other people, you're going to see that your engagement's going to go up, your profile visits are going to go up, and you're going to start growing as far as connecting with people and building that clientele on Instagram. So that's what we have for you. Again, this was just basics. There's so many other things I just want to dive deep into because I'm a little psyched